Hey everybody, Brent here with Nutrition First Coaching, and today's video is all about getting protein into your day. I've had a lot of questions about hitting macros and how to get to the right amount of protein every day and getting stuck at the end of the day with 70 grams of protein to try to eat. So we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about how to add it in, give you some recipes. You're going to get all kinds of tips on how to get your protein. So let's get after it. So we're talking about how to get protein into your day. But first of all, why is protein important? Well, protein is an essential macronutrient. We need to get it out of our diet. It helps with everything from repairing our tissues to growing hair, to our nails, to our skin, to basically every organ and every part of our body, as well as building and preserving muscle. So protein is essential, super important. And not only getting enough protein, but getting high quality protein is critical for maintaining muscle as we age and being athletic and recovering from all the things we love to do. So now that we know protein is essential and we have to get it in our diet, let's talk about ways to get it into our diet, because it's by far the most under-eaten macronutrient. And if we're talking about how much protein we need, that's going to vary by the person, their size, their activity level, their age, but it's going to be somewhere in the 0.7 grams per pound of body weight up to about 1 gram per pound of body weight, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So if it's undereaten, what's the biggest reason why? Because people struggle to get protein in the morning or enough at lunch, and then they end up getting stuck at the end of the day, having a bunch of protein they have to fit into their diet. So they can end up cramming stuff in or trying to get enough protein. And, I hate it when my clients are like, oh, I had to cram in 50 or 60 grams of protein in my last meal of the day. It's like, man, one, that's hard to digest, and you hate to be cramming in foods when you're trying to eat a healthy, nutritious, kind of balanced diet. So first one, the go-to for me, and I tell people you can get about 30 to 40% if you wanted to supplement from is protein powders. And I prefer the powders over bars because they're so much more versatile. You're getting just the protein powders typically, and maybe a little flavoring or sweeteners. But with the bars, you're getting tons of carbs and other ingredients in there. So with the powders, the real go-tos are smoothies. We do that all the time at our house. Get a strawberry flavor, mix some fruit in there. You can throw some spinach in, some Greek yogurt, a little almond milk in there. That's delicious. Great way to get some protein in the morning. If you put a scoop of protein powder and you have a half a cup of Greek yogurt, you're at 30 plus grams of protein right there. The yogurt goes with the protein powder. That can just be mixed together. That's delicious, almost like a little snack dessert. We'll talk about a good recipe for that later. Mix it into your waffle mix or any kind of bread mix you're making. Maybe you're making muffins or something like that. You can mix some protein powders into that too. That's delicious. Number two is egg whites. These are kind of the little chameleon of everything. They can get into any kind of foods you want to mix them with, make them taste delicious, give them a little more body or volume to the foods. So, of course, you can make 3 or 4 egg whites with an egg, and get the yolk in there and get a nice scramble, get a bunch of protein out of that, 5 to 7 grams or so per egg white or tablespoon, depending on how you're measuring it. If it's out of one of the little containers of egg whites, they'll tell you how to measure that on the side. Mixed in with the stir fry, that's delicious. Throw some egg whites in there. That'll fluff up the veggies or the rice you're cooking it with, or whatever grain you have kind of going with your stir fry into your rice. Now we're talking like stir fried rice with some egg in there and egg whites. That makes that delicious. And then even into your pastas, and put a little egg whites in there and mix it in with your pastas and give it a little bit more volume, boost it up a little bit. But figure out some other ways to use some egg whites. They don't always have to be cooked if they're ultra pasteurized, so you can always mix those in too. All right, protein-centered snacks. So this one's a little bit more of a strategy to it, but make sure if you're eating 3 meals in a snack, make sure you get plenty of protein in that snack. Shoot for 20 to even 30 grams of protein. That can be some lunch meat, all kinds of really fibrous vegetables you can go with it, celery, cucumbers, broccoli, You can mix in some good veggies, even tuna. Those come in those little packets. I think that's 14 grams for a small one, and they're even flavored. You could just eat that little packet. Some of the bigger packets are 28 or maybe even 30 grams. And then hummus. Maybe you're gonna have a little bit of a protein-centered snack and you want to dip it in something, dip it in some hummus. You're going to get some carbs along with it, but you're going to have some good protein. I've been trying out these, I meant to bring it out, but a meat stick, which is like it's supposed to be very healthy, pasteurized meat, or pasture-raised meat, sorry, and fermented. And this meat stick, they taste great. They're portable. You don't have to refrigerate them. Kind of a beef jerky alternative, a little more hydration, not as chewy as the beef jerky. Greek yogurt, we mentioned that a little bit up here too, but it can be kind of a good chameleon to make different sauces. You can make like a tzatziki sauce, and that's really good, just kind of that tangy flavor to it. You can even make like an Alfredo with a Greek yogurt, put that on some, any kind of pasta, but you could use some kind of veggie-based pasta with that. That would be delicious. And then even just like a cucumber dip with your Greek yogurt. Ooh, that's really good. I like, any Greek restaurant where you have the tzatziki or you have like that tangy kind of cucumbery Greek yogurt dip. That's delicious too. So again, Greek yogurt's a good chameleon for covering other flavors in there and getting a little tanginess with good protein. Cheese kind of gets a bad rap. It can be a lot of fat, a lot of salt, and a little bit of protein. So choose your cheeses wisely. Cottage cheeses, you can get the low-fat variety. Put a half a scoop or half a cup or so of that in your salad, mix it in. That gives it a nice creamy flavor. Low-fat mozzarellas and cheese sticks, those can have some decent protein to go a little bit with something else in your protein-centered snack that you wanted to get. You just, like I said here, you gotta watch the fats a little bit with the cheeses. Desserts. So I'm gonna link to a video on this. We'll just flow into it, how you make this protein ice cream dessert. I'll let you guys watch that right now. Hey everybody, here's a little protein dessert recipe. So you're trying to fit all your protein in for the day. You get to the end of the day, maybe you got 60 or 70 grams left, or maybe you saved some for after dinner and you want some kind of sweet little treat. Well, I think something that's really easy is some plain Greek yogurt. So a good brand is, I like this Kirkland brand. This is a half a cup. So we're gonna get half a cup out of here. I'm just gonna do a little more than a half a cup. It says about 2/3 of a cup is one serving size, which is 18 grams of protein. So we're probably right there. For sake of not being tedious, I won't weigh and measure everything out in front of you. And then you need a little protein to go with it. So I like the driven way is the caramel latte. So we'll do 1 scoop of that. And that's 23 grams of protein there. Just for a little show and tell, this was my first batch of homemade yogurt, Greek yogurt. Still got some cultures in there. So now we'll start mixing this up a little bit, and just to get the right consistency, we'll kind of mix a little bit here, and then as we're mixing, we'll add, you can kind of go with any milk honestly at this point, but I like an almond milk, or if I can open it, not crushing it, there we go. Put a splash or so of that in there. Actually, a new one I've been trying is macadamia nut milk. So you could mix something like that in there too, just to get a little bit of more of a liquidy kind of consistency. There we go. So then that's gonna look kind of like that, almost like a milky consistency, and you kind of mix it to what you want in terms of getting it mixed together. If we just put this in, we'd have our 18 grams here or 23 grams here, and probably negligible, we won't even really count that. So, basically we're at 40 grams of protein right there just in this little dessert. You could always cut this in half and it's a 20-gram kind of dessert for you. Little things you can add in there. These are like a semi-sweet baking chip and they're actually made with erythritol, so net carbs are like 2 grams, and that's for, that says 30 chips, that's a lot. So you can even take half of that, so you're getting a gram or so of carbs with it. Maybe you're a dark chocolate person, break some of this up, chop it up, put some dark chocolate in there. That's a good brand. You know, now we're a few grams of protein, but net carbs on this one are about 9, so not bad at all for a serving of that. If you want to go more of a vegetarian way, organic cacao nibs, you just kind of give it a little crunch, kind of hold their texture and their crunch pretty well. Or you can take it out of the freezer and put like a little granola on top of it. I've been kind of addicted to this Love Crunch one. Definitely a few more carbs in this one and a little bit of protein, 4 grams per serving. With our nets, about 16 grams of carbs there. But now what you're gonna do, and the secret for this is, you go put this in your freezer, 15, 20, 25 minutes, kind of whatever you decide is the right amount of like being frozen or cold enough, depending on your freezer and your taste. And then you can have your normal dinner, maybe you get 35 or 40 grams of protein in there for dinner. And then you can have a 20 gram kind of dessert afterwards, spread it out just a little bit, and then you're getting, you know, 55, 60, 65 grams of protein, depending on how you kind of portion things out. So a good little sweet treat if you like to end it off, leave room in your macros for that protein, or you need to catch up on a little bit of protein with just a little bit of carbs, and you want some kind of sweet dessert. So I hope you enjoy that one. Okay, you're back. That looks delicious, right? Have that for dessert tonight to add into your macros from your dinner. And then just an overall strategy, I would say, is mix some protein into each meal. You don't want to get to lunch or dinner and have all this protein left over. So if you are trying to get 150 grams of protein a day and you're eating 3 meals and a snack, well, it can be 45 grams of each meal, and then a 15 gram snack, 40 grams at each meal, and then a 25 or 30 gram snack, and you're gonna be right in that 150 window. But you have to kind of work that out the day before or the morning of and know you're gonna get protein in each of those meals. Don't hit breakfast and you get 15 grams, then lunch you got 30 grams, and you're only at 45 grams, then you have a snack and a meal left. You have to eat 105 grams of protein to cover that. So really make sure you're mixing protein in with each of those meals. And that's kind of the overall strategy for this. Hopefully this gave you some good ideas. Hit your protein needs, recover well, fuel your body well, and I'll see you out on the trails or maybe out at the gym. Let's get out there and have some fun. Like and subscribe if you want some more of these videos. Give me a little feedback. Maybe there's some other things you'd like to hear about, maybe more recipes, different videos, different questions to answer. I'd love to hear from you. All right, take care.